Hello, welcome to Peace and Empowerment. My name is Glenn Sollers. I am your host for this podcast series. I'm super excited about doing this because this is my life's work, my passion. The thing I'm addicted to is I'm addicted to me and building a stronger me through empowerment and trying to achieve greater peace in my life as I never had peace. And it's had an impact, and I'll be getting into that during this podcast series. This whole journey started for me 16 years ago when my ex-wife told me, Glenn, you have issues. And I said, I have no issues. And she said, you do, Glenn. And I denied it, but I used to be a victim to other people. And I used to get upset at other people and I would blame them. And it was not about me. It was about what others did to me. And I didn't have any control in my life. I found out about a program called the Mankind Project. It's an organization and they have a training program called the New Warrior Training Adventure, which is a men's awareness weekend. I did this weekend. It was not easy. And after that weekend, I was a changed man. I was so blessed to have that opportunity to do that weekend and kind of have somebody shake me so that I woke up to who I was and the impact I have on myself and other people. After the weekend was done, I had a perma smile on my face and I went home and shared it with my wife. And a week later, she announced a divorce. Wow, that hit me. I was in a state of shock because after the program, I realized what I did and didn't do and the impact it had on the relationship. The gift in all this was a path of greater happiness and authenticity and recognizing that I was in that relationship for the wrong reason and that I wasn't being my authentic self in that relationship. It was a gift. It was a gift that I was in the relationship because I learned a lot about myself. It was a gift that she told me, you need to work on myself. And it was a gift in rediscovering who I am and living my best life. That's the intent of this podcast series, is to share a bit about my journey, share tools and techniques that I've learned so that you live a more empowered and peaceful life. We all can start again. Our past is our past, and we can create the future that we want. And now is such an important time to do so because you only live so long. And sadly, we all die. And how will I live that life? I've always had a philosophy of living my dreams before I die because I worked in an industry where people were exposed to asbestos. And a lot of folks that retired would pass away shortly afterwards due to cancer. Life is short. And too many of us live for retirement. It's like we're checking off the days until death. And we miss out. Living our dreams before we die is so critical. And the best way to do that is to live with a happy, centered you, one that is authentically yourself, so you can show up in this world with all the gifts you were given. I've been using my gifts for the last 11 years, 12 years in my career as a leadership development consultant, coach, trainer, team builder. And That, plus all the research I've done on self-development, self-awareness, self-improvement, also based on my certification as a Clear Beliefs coach, has led me to want to do this podcast so that I can share my experiences with you to help you grow and develop. And a gentleman who really inspired me, I've never met the man, one day I hope to, is Gabor Mate. He's a doctor in Vancouver who used to work on Vancouver's Lower East Side. And this is Vancouver, Canada, folks. I guess I should have let you know that I live in British Columbia, Canada. And he states that stress is caused by three factors: a lack of control, a lack of a say in the matter of things, and a lack of predictability. Hello, COVID-19. Huge impact on everybody. And we built up a lot of stress over time. And we're seeing the side effects not only of COVID-19, but of so many other things that we have in our current day society and the realities that we're faced with. And also the things that we're doing to ourselves to create higher anxiety levels, higher levels of depression, war, climate change, mass shootings, burnout, stress. For example, social media. I see people all over the place on their smartphone, because really everything we need is on our smartphone other than food and a toilet. That's it. Maybe we could even probably sleep on our phone if we'd like. It's a bit of a pillow. But other than that, it has everything in there. Our contacts, our social media, video games we play, movies. And I see people just looking down at their phone. It controls us. And what we're doing is we are being entertained and engaged by a piece of technology. It's taking us away from who we are. It's a distraction. And we're no longer always living our lives. We are living the lives of others, watching other people live their lives. Like Facebook is a prime example. When I go on Facebook, I don't put videos of my wife and I having an argument. I put videos of us on a Mediterranean cruise. Look at us. Look how lucky I am. And it's such a tool around comparing and contrasting. And no wonder people are getting stressed out, seeing what other people have and we don't. But let me tell you, they're not putting their dark side on their Instagram or TikTok chats. They're doing their lighter side, and that side that they want other people to see, to show them, look at my life. Look how exciting it is. And we sit on the couch watching these things versus actually going out there and being with people in a lot of cases. Like, I am so grateful I have the friends and community I have, because I go out there and I actually have conversations, interact with people. I'm not saying I never go on social media, and I'm not saying that's a bad thing to do. There is a balance there. But the problem is, and I see this a lot, especially in youth, that they're so into the technology that it is creating things like cyberbullying, the haves, the have-nots. I ended up watching the Johnny Depp Amber Heard trial. For whatever reason, it added no value in my life. And I sat there and watched it. I only have so many minutes to live, and I'm watching a multi-millionaire fight another multi-millionaire due to domestic violence abuses. And clearly, they both have stuff going on that's not that great. Why am I watching that life unfold? It was not time well wasted. We also have challenges around fatherless homes, motherless homes, where a child is being parented by one individual. And Not that that's a bad thing, folks, and I admire those who are managing their children on their own. It's not an easy thing to do. And in many cases, it's something that's forced upon a parent, which is very sad. But there's also times where the court system's family law will remove a parent from a child's life. And then the child is growing up with one parent and there's no balance. And then we wonder why sometimes children have mental problems or that history repeats itself. We have parents that are just over involved in their children's lives, where they do everything for them. And then the child hits adulthood and they're put out there in the world and they have to become independent. All these different factors that are at play here in our society. To me, it feels like it creates a me-oriented world versus a we-oriented. And the we is so important. Humanity, animals, you name it, have always grown up together, worked together to survive. And now we are doing it on our own in a lot of cases. Especially in North America, I think this is really prevalent. My vision of this podcast series is to help you live an empowered and peaceful life. What do I mean by that? Let's look at the definition of empowerment. Authority of power given to someone to do something. The process of becoming stronger and more confident, especially in controlling one's life and claiming one's right. That's empowerment. Peace, freedom from disturbance, tranquility. Wow, what would life be like if you were empowered to do what is right for you and achieve greater peace? It's almost Zen-like, isn't it? Like, to me, that is enlightenment right there. And that's what I want in my life. What are the benefits of this podcast series are, and this is my goal, because this is what I've achieved and still working to achieve, is greater happiness, more authenticity. And when I say authenticity, I don't mean being too authentic, because that's not healthy. And I don't mean being inauthentic. I mean a balance of authentic and inauthentic. There's somewhere in the middle there where we can be authentic and be nice at the same time. So being tactful. Stronger relationships, more of a love connection with yourself and others, because how can I possibly love others if I can't love myself? A greater sense of security and contentment with who you are. More safety in respect to conversations with other people, being able to speak your mind. And ultimately, longevity of your life. If we are not ourselves, we generally can feel it. Like, think about it for a moment. When you are being inauthentic with somebody else, when you're not being empowered, chances are you likely have some sort of physiological response in your body. It's your body telling you, hello there, you are not being real. Get real. In this series, you're going to learn different tools and techniques. I'm going to give you some advice, practical approaches to create a more empowered and peaceful you. I have done a lot of reading, a lot of work on myself. I will provide the reference to different books that I've read as well as I go through this series. So if you're interested in learning more about it, you can certainly go there. I'm also going to share my journey with you. The reason I'm doing that is so that you can reflect on your own journey as I go through my journey And I'll share real examples in how I've used the tools and techniques. I want to remind you, though, I am not an expert. Yes, I am a professional in terms of leadership development, coaching, training in many different aspects, but I'm not a psychologist. I'm not a psychiatrist. I'm not a therapist. I am not a counselor. If there is something you're dealing with or something I say that triggers you or gets you upset, or you discover something in yourself, please get the support you need to deal with it. I have had a lot of trauma in my life, and that is one of the reasons why I am loving this work, because through knowing the why I do what I do, I am better prepared on the what do I do next and creating new patterns of behavior. And this is a real important thing to know, is we are byproducts of our environment. They used to say, it's your DNA, it's your genes, that's why you are who you are. They're doing more and more research on that, and they're discovering it's not that at all. Well, it plays a small part in it, but it's mainly your environment. And I like to use the analogy of a computer. When we are born, we are like a computer, which has all the electronics in it. We have like our arms, we have our legs. There is really no brain. And what happens in life is we start downloading new programs into our brain about how does the world operate. It's like we're getting upgrades to our computer. So we're being programmed certain ways. Do this, don't do that. This is our culture. This is how we parent. This is the religion we're in. Here's the language. And we have all these programs that are downloaded into our mind. And then we form habitual patterns of what to do in life. How do we survive? Because our brain wants us to survive. And it says, okay, well, I'm not allowed to do this, so I better do this. Yeah, that worked. I'm going to do it again and again and again. And eventually we get set in our ways, and sometimes we wonder, why can't I just be me? We're programmed a certain way, and we can lose ourselves easily. In this podcast series, I'm going to help you dig down to identify your code so that you can go in there and create a new you, one that you want to live into, that seems compelling, lovely, and allows you to really thrive in this world and live your best life. Folks, thanks for listening, and I look forward to chatting with you in episode number 2.